Hello everyone, this is a love story and I hope you all will like this story. Please subscribe us for more stories. The rain had just begun to fall over the quiet coastal town of Astoria, soft and rhythmic, the kind that made people slow down and listen. The streets shimmered under the glow of old street lamps, and the smell of the sea mingled with coffee from a small corner cafe, the Lighthouse Brew. Inside, Aiden Carter sat by the window, a travel writer with a half-written article glowing faintly on his laptop. But his attention wasn't on words tonight. He was watching the rain, lost in the kind of silence that only hearts with missing pieces understood. Then she entered Lila Bennett with rain in her hair and a sketchbook clutched against her chest. She wasn't extraordinary in the movie star sense, but there was something quietly beautiful about her, something unhurried. She looked around, caught her breath from the cold, and smiled politely at the barista before ordering coffee. Aiden's gaze followed her. Not in curiosity, but in recognition, as if some invisible string between them had just trembled. When she took a seat near the window, Aiden noticed she was sketching the harbor, the same view he had been trying to describe in words. Her hand moved with grace, pencil whispering across the paper. He couldn't resist. "You made that old boat look alive," he said softly from his seat across. She looked up, startled, then smiled, the kind of smile that melts into your soul before you even know it's there. "It is alive," she replied. "Everything is, if you look at it long enough." That was how it began, not with a grand gesture, not with fireworks or fate written in stars, but with a shared cup of coffee and the sound of rain on glass. They met again the next day, and the next after that. The cafe became their world, the quiet table by the window, her sketches, his words. She was an artist who had come to Astoria to paint the sea before moving to Italy for a big exhibition. He was a writer who had come to escape his own loneliness. They were both just passing through, but hearts have a strange way of not caring about timelines. They talked about everything: childhood dreams, fears they'd never told anyone, favorite songs, lost loves. Aiden learned that Lila saw the world in colors. Every feeling had a shade to her. Happiness was yellow. Nostalgia was teal. And love, she said, was not red like everyone thought. "It's white," she told him one night, "because it holds every color inside it." He'd never heard anything so perfect. One evening, they walked along the beach as the sun dipped into the horizon. The sky was a canvas of violet and gold. Aiden stopped and looked at her, really looked, her hair caught in the wind, her eyes full of sunset. "If I wrote about you," he said quietly, "I'd never be able to finish the story." She smiled, her hand brushing against his. "Then don't finish it. Just keep writing." That night, under the soft crash of waves, they kissed, the kind of kiss that feels both new and ancient, like it had been waiting to happen for years. Days turned into weeks. Their laughter filled the cafe. They cooked dinner in her small rented apartment overlooking the ocean. He read his unfinished stories aloud while she painted them in colors he could never name. It was the kind of love that felt like breathing easy, natural, endless. But love, no matter how deep, often meets the edges of reality. Her flight to Italy drew closer, and his next assignment, a year-long journey through Asia, loomed ahead. They tried not to talk about it, but silence has a way of revealing what words can't. The night before her flight, they met on the beach again. The tide was low, the moon soft and distant. "Come with me," she whispered, half pleading, half hoping. "You can write anywhere." He wanted to. God, he wanted to. But he also knew that running toward her would mean running away from himself, his work, his life, his journey that had only just begun. "I can't," he said, voice breaking. "But I'll find you. I promise." Tears shimmered in her eyes. She pressed a small, folded piece of paper into his hand. "Then remember me with this." She kissed him once more, long enough to hurt, soft enough to last, and walked away before he could speak again. When he opened the paper later that night, it was a sketch of him, sitting by the cafe window, with rain outside and a faint smile on his lips. At the bottom, she had written, "When the sky whispers my name, I'll be listening." Years passed. Aiden's name became well known in travel magazines. He wrote about the world, about people, places, and the small, beautiful moments that tied them together. But he never wrote the story he'd started that night in Astoria. It remained in his drafts, untouched, incomplete. One spring morning, in Venice, he wandered into a small art gallery near the water. The walls were covered in breathtaking paintings, oceans, harbors, and faces, half remembered. And then he saw it, a painting of the Lighthouse Brew, the same cafe window, and a man sitting inside typing, rain falling beyond the glass. He turned, heart pounding, and saw her standing near the corner, older, more graceful, but still the same Lila. For a moment, neither spoke. The world, it seemed, had paused for them. "I thought I lost you," he said, his voice trembling. "You didn't," she whispered, smiling softly. "You just took the long way back." He laughed, tears blurring his vision. "Did the sky whisper my name?" She stepped closer and took his hand. Every day, and as the light from the Venetian sun spilled through the gallery window, painting them both in gold, they kissed again, no longer as two souls passing through, but as two who had finally found their way home.